The basics of MySQL. It's really important for you to understand basics of writing SQL queries. Of course, I will not be teaching you all the SQL language in one shot. And of course, it's not an advanced SQL class. But you need to know very basic language so that you can use them to understand the SQL injection queries. For that, I need you to log into your MySQL console. Now, the first command is show databases, which will give you all the databases that you have. Next command is create databases. And you can create any database. In this case, I'm creating a database called X. And you see, query one row affected. If you run the show database again, you will see you got a new database. Next command is to select the database. So you say use and the database name, which is use X. Now we are in the X, which is determined by this column here. Now let's see if there is any table in this. Show tables for that. However, it's an empty set because there is no table. Let's create a table then. So I'm going to create a table called users. Now the reason I have these braces here is because I will be putting what kind of data will be stored in this users. The data will be, first of all, name. Now the name is the name of the column, okay? That's the name of the column where the data will be stored. But what type of data? There are certain types in SQL and it depends on the product that you're using. In my case, I'm using MariaDB implementation of SQL. So the type which I have to use is varchar. And in varchar, I have to tell it how many characters the name can be. Let's go 100 characters. So someone can type a name which will be stored in the name, which will be of varchar type, which is characters, and that will be 100 characters. Let's press enter. And you see query OK, 0 rows affected. Let me show you the tables now. You can see we got a table called users. If I select everything from users by using the select query, where star means everything, so select everything that's there in the user. Show me everything that's there in the users. You will see it says empty set. However, I can go ahead and add something here by putting insert into values. So I can use insert into table name, which is users. I can insert into this users table, values, and I need to give the values. Since I only have one column, which is name, I'll give the values here. If I'm using name, I have to use double quotes, and I can give a name like Sagar. I can press enter, and you see one row affected. If I do select star, you will see there is a column name, and there is a value which is in Sagar. Similarly, I can add more users by using the same query and saying second user as Alice, and third user as Bob. And if we try to see the users, and you can see there are 3 records which are these, which are in the column of name, which are in the table of users, which are in the database called X. I can delete some stuff, let's say the whole database, by saying drop database X. You can do the same for tables as well. Drop table and the table name. As soon as I do drop database X, you can see it says none here and there is no database now. So if I just show you the databases, you can see we don't have X anymore. That's how you delete the database. Now there are 3 functions that I want to explain. The function of user, so I can say select user. You can see it gives us the output of user running on the server. So we are running this as root. There is another function called version, which is going to give us the version number of the database. And there is another function called database, which will throw us null because we are not using any database. However, if an application is using a database like use SPVA, now my application is using SPVA database if I do select database, you will see that it gives the database as the result. So these three functions can be really helpful while gathering data in SQL injections. This is the core basic that you need to understand. There are many things like OR, AND, WHERE, order by, group by, but this is not an SQL class. Though I will be explaining all of these things in the course whenever I can, but you can always use Google as your friend.